And it starts right now.
What starts right now?
The Black Friday sale.
Did you already push that?
Yeah, what's the big deal?
You know Black Friday's not till next week.
Next week?
Yeah.
It's not a leap year or something like that?
Nope.
Well, it's the Power Glow's fault then. I didn't do it. Hey guys, welcome to Gear Tasting. Today we're going to talk about something that everybody has issues with, and that's keys. So keys may not be the sexiest topic, but I think it's worthwhile, and it's one that I have kind of been chasing the dream on for many years now. So I've been dealing with some way, shape, or form of key management for years and trying to perfect what I like to carry and what works for me, and that's what I wanted to share with you today. So I've pretty much bought everything on the market there is for key management. I'm kind of a nerd about organizing keys, and the best solution that I've came up with so far is a product called the KeySmart. I've been through a lot of different things. We've written articles on ITS about this kind of stuff before too. Everything from the Exotac free key system to KeySmarts to the original Blade Key, which was an old Kickstarter project that we had done an article on a while back. And I've even tried out kind of some of the newer stuff on the market, like a key bar. So there's nothing wrong with any of these products, just to put that out there. It really is what works for you. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, is what's worked for me so far. So this is what I started off with. Exotac came out with the free key system, which we sell on ITS. I think it's a great product. I stand behind it too because I use it for other things. So they came out with the free key system, which are these little small rings attached to a larger ring, which is no new concept in key management. But what they developed was this kind of patented technology. It's almost like I don't know what you call it, kind of like a clamshell opening. So they developed a way to take a traditional key ring and basically make a little arch in one of the sections so that it's easy to open it up like this and get your keys out. So I find that very easy, and I use that for a long time, but you still kind of have the jingle jangle of keys, and it can be bulky in your pocket with, kind of an unlimited amount of keys. What I like about some of these management systems like the Blade Key and Key Bar and KeySmart is that it kind of forces you to tone down your keychain. So it really makes you focus on, well, do I really need that key? Do I really have to carry that around with me every day? So, these are not my keys, but I went from something that was probably even bigger than this, in the amount of keys that I was carrying, to something streamlined and small like this. And as you can maybe see from this on my KeySmart, I've taped up my keys because I know how you guys do on the internet. You're going to copy my keys and try to break into my shit. So anyway, that's what I did. But this is how I carry my keys. So, I have my main fob key, which is my to my FJ Cruiser, on kind of the end of this key system. So it's not integrated with all the other keys because it would never fit. When you have something that has an unlock button and a remote on it, obviously it's too bulky for, anything even like the Blade Key or the Key Bar. It's just not going to fit. So you have to have some other way of carrying that type of key. And this is what I found works best for me. So with the KeySmart, they give you this little bar right there, and I feel like it fits really well with one of the small inner rings of the KeySmart. So that's what I use on that. So I use that Exotac free key system. I said KeySmart. Free key system, and I use one of those smaller rings to make that liaison between my car key and the main keys. But what I keep coming back to is that I like the KeySmart's profile. It's really super small. It takes up virtually no width in terms of the keys that you put in it. So when you make your little key sandwich with what you want to carry around with you, you can see that they've got these little small. They're not even rubber. They're like a composite material, but those are the little gaskets that fit between the keys. They're super small, and you have them stacked between your keys, which gives you a little bit of an offset when you put this kind of carriage bolt system together on that. So I think it's called a carriage bolt. I can't remember. It's called something different. Anyway, sorry. Someone's going to tell me out there. But once you put these together, it gives you a nice way to kind of move your keys around like this, and they kind of fillet open in this regard. So you can access each one of your keys. And I like this because you can kind of set the tension yourself on these. You can go back to the KeySmart 2 and put a drop of, like blue Loctite or something on it to keep it from spinning out, because I do find myself constantly reaching into my pocket and pulling out my little tool here and actually tightening that up. So that's kind of, that's the titanium pocket tool too. It's also a little razor blade, so I like that I've got a little flathead screwdriver on that because I find myself using it all the time to tighten that up. And like I said, I could put Loctite on it, but it makes it easy to kind of change the adjustment on it, which I like too. So, and I also like that when I have these in here, the two keys that I use most are kind of offset from each other. So, I kind of flip these open apart from each other. So pushing up this side actually flips up that side, and vice versa. I can kind of get to my keys easily that way too by just pushing different ways on the KeySmart. So that's what keeps me coming back to this as my preferred method. So the blade key, there's certainly nothing wrong with that either. Like I said, I carried one around with me for a long time, and the blade key is nice because as you stack your keys in here, you can kind of do that same thing. You can flip them up like that. But I just found this to be kind of bulky when I put the keys that I wanted in here and kind of manage that. I mean, I was carrying a blade key for a long time, all the way from their prototype version that they had a zip tie that used to run through here. So I feel that was one of the first key management devices that was really on the market in terms of like a fob type device to store keys on, was the blade key. And I experimented with the key bar too for a while, and there's certainly nothing wrong with them. I think that they're a great option. They have a lot of different customization options for the key bar, but I kept coming back to the bulk too. So I feel, in my personal opinion, I feel like the key bar is a little more bulky than the KeySmart, which led me to keep coming back to this. I'm kind of a lightweight junkie too, so I like to kind of count ounces because ounces equal pounds and pounds equal pain. So I kind of keep that in mind too when I'm looking at stuff. So. And this is not a huge promotional thing too, because I feel like each one of these products by themselves has their own merits. But since I kind of settled on the KeySmart after my years of messing around with this stuff, we started to get some KeySmarts customized too. So now we have these with the little ITS logo on them too, if you're interested in picking them up. They're launching today actually on the site, but I've wanted to do something on key management for a long time. And this product offering with KeySmart's been a long time coming, so it's kind of been an interesting road with getting these KeySmarts. So anyhow, that's kind of the gist of the offering here with the key management systems. One thing I want to mention too is that I still carry around kind of a USB device on my keys too. This is I don't know how you pronounce this, LACIE, L-A-C-I-E. I guess that's how you say it. But that's what I use for a USB drive. So I carry that around as in a key slot too, which I like because it means that I always have a USB drive on me if I need it. With Apple now changing their computers over to pure Thunderbolt, or what is that, USB 3 or it's USB-C. So that may not be an option anymore, but for now I haven't upgraded, so I've still got access to USBs, and the world kind of still operates on USB. So there's many different options out there for little USB sticks in a key size. So that would be my recommendation too, is picking something like that up too if you like having that data storage on your key device. Hey guys, next thing I want to talk about is the feed. We have been partnering with them for quite a while to offer a selection of nutritious, delicious snacks for you to sample, and that's what the feed's good at. So working with them over the past few years, I've curated a couple of boxes of content from them of snacks that you can try out. So I revamp that from time to time as my tastes change. I like to experiment with new snacks and things like that too. So from time to time, I'll build a new iteration of our box. We call it like the Fuel for Adventure. So what I have today is kind of the newest iteration of what I've kind of hand selected to appear in this. So the feed kind of sent us this so you could check it out. They had to send me another box with the contents because I ate them all on the last one. So that's kind of how I get through what I want to put in the new one. So first off, I want to mention this is a Camelback Podium bottle, and if you enter the code WELCOME, if you pick up one of our boxes, it's linked below, but you can get a free Camelback bottle if you want one of those too. So I like to kind of break this down into a couple of different things that I do when I select this kind of stuff. I am outside doing different events and hiking and things like that too. So, I like to make sure that I always have, kind of protein and snacks and things like that with me to kind of help get me through. And that's where kind of the feed steps in. I've always just enjoyed this kind of stuff too. So in the past we've had, was really big on Stinger waffles for a while. I've been huge on Perfect Food bars for a long time too, and just anything that kind of provides nutrition out in the field and things like that too. So that's kind of what I selected. A buddy of mine turned me onto these RX bars. I've been really enjoying these for a while now, so I wanted to make sure I include those. This was a new flavor I hadn't tried yet. This is called mint chocolate. It's actually really good. Some of the others that they make on these RX bars are not as flavorful, but I did enjoy this one more than others. It's kind of why I selected it too. And then we've got some, I'm kind of a big, I like to say energy chews, but I really like gummy stuff. So I'm a big fan of like Haribo gummy bears, and I try not to eat them because I will eat all of them. Guys at Muster bribed me this year on the FTX with some Haribo gummy bears. I don't know how they found out that I like gummy bears, but that's what they used to bribe me, and it might have helped them out a little bit. They didn't wind up winning, but anyway, it did help them in their event. So these are the Scratch Fruit Drops. These are energy chews. These are orange, but they have other flavors too. I like the other different flavors that they have as well. There's like wild berry and things like that. I'm more of a berry kind of flavor guy, so even though these are orange, you can select different stuff. So basically, before I get too far into this, our whole box offering that we have, this is like $35 for all this, which I think is a pretty good deal. And after you kind of see everything that I have in here as a sampling, you'll kind of see that you get a wide selection of different stuff to try, and then you can kind of figure out whether you like that kind of stuff, and then go back and pick those items up individually, or so on and so forth, or pick them up even at the store if you find them. So like I said, I originally liked the Honey Stinger waffles, but there's been so many different waffle brands on the market now. I think kind of playing off the success of what Honey Stinger's done. And there's like Rip Van waffles, there's these Dutch waffles, there's even these Stroop waffles from Goo now. So I wanted to kind of check them all out to see what else was on the market and how they tasted. I really loved this coconut waffle for some reason. I'm kind of a big coconut person. Kelly doesn't really like coconut. She thinks it's gross. She doesn't like coconut, but I'm a big coconut guy, so yeah, I liked it a lot. There's a blueberry waffle, which I thought was pretty good, and this is just a wild berry flavor. So put all those in there so you can kind of try those out too. I think they're pretty good. This was interesting. This was a kind of a pack of coffee that they had kind of for the field. So I've made coffee like camp coffee sometimes too, and I whipped this up in the jet boil, and it's actually pretty good. I have a little French press insert for the jet boil, which I've got something coming up in a future gear tasting because I'm starting to assemble my gear that I'll be taking to that Mammoth Sniper Challenge again, and coffee is obviously a big concern to me out in the field. I kind of like coffee. So, and today I'm drinking Spartan coffee. But this was something that I liked. It's Geo by Little Red Wagon. It's kind of an individual serving of coffee, and I French pressed one of these, and it was pretty good, so I included that too. And then these are bars. What are these? They're kind of a natural foods bar. There, I was reading the wrong side. Granola bar, that's what it was. I enjoy those too. I like granola and oatmeal and stuff like that. Some guys don't like that. Some people don't, but I do. Which is why I kind of have this oatmeal in here too. It's really weird eating oatmeal from one of these things. It's kind of a weird texture thing, but overall I think it tastes really good. It's apple cinnamon oatmeal, and sucking oatmeal through a straw isn't really everybody's dream when they're out in the field, but hey, it's nutritious and I like it. Then I've also I like these energy gels from time to time too. I'll sometimes throw a couple of these in my pack if I'm doing something strenuous, like riding a bike or kind of hiking a long distance. I'll down one of these about every 45 minutes. Kind of helps keep my energy up. I like those a lot. And then I've also included these fig bars. I like I guess what were they? Fruit Newtons. I kind of grew up with those, and these are kind of like a healthier version of Fruit Newtons, so put those in there as well. And then what comes included in a little bag here, because it's kind of temperature sensitive, is a Perfect Foods bar. And I know I've told the story of these before, but I started eating these when they were selling them in San Diego out of a little plastic Ziploc bag. I mean, they were kind of making these out of their house, whoever invented these, the Perfect Foods company. But I think they were called Perfect Foods bars back then. Now it's just Perfect Bar. But this is the fruit and nut, which that's one of their original recipes from way back in the day. This was like circa 2004, I guess, is when I started munching on those. So now they're kind of available everywhere. They're in like the refrigerated section of grocery stores even. But Feed has them, and they ship them in those kind of protected things. I think they're delicious. So, and then I wanted to start trying like a protein from the Feed too, because they offer that a lot too. So I was starting to experiment with like this whey protein. I'm a big whey protein person. I don't like getting into some of the other things like creatine and crap like that. I tend to stick with protein powders that are natural, like wheys and stuff like that too. But I'll make shakes in the morning sometimes, and I dump a little bit of protein into that. This is obviously kind of a single serving, but I use like a tablespoon at a time when I make a shake in the morning, so one of these lasts me longer than that. And then last but not least, you either love it or you hate it, but this is salmon jerky, and I think it was pretty good. I don't know, I think by the time I kind of ate through the whole package, I was kind of ready to be done with salmon jerky, but at the same time, it was delicious. I'm a big fish eater, so that was pretty good to me, and I wanted to try it, and I think you might like it too. All right, guys, thanks for watching Gear Tasting. Next week is Thanksgiving, so we will not have an episode next week, but be sure to check out our sale. As we mentioned in the intro, we have 20% going on right now for a Black Friday sale. It's kind of an early preview of our Black Friday sale. So we have that running through November 27th, like a lot of days. So if you want to save, you can get your save on in the ITS store. If you're a Life member, you can save an extra 5% on top of the 20, so you can actually take 25% off. So our little gift for you as a little early preview. As always, even though we didn't run questions this week, we're skipping a week next week for Thanksgiving, so we will be back with those the following week. And if you have questions, use the # Gear Tasting on any social media network. We'll get them answered here on the show. And as always, if you're liking what we're doing here on Gear Tasting, please consider joining as a crew leader in our membership and allow us to give you back something in return. Details are below as well. Thanks again.